What's up everyone? Today we're going to give you 5 tips to improve the overall aesthetic of your stream. Let's go. Hi guys, how's it going? My name is Aaron. I'm live on Twitch every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to stop by. Links are in the description below. So step 1 is all about keeping it simple. Our overlay is the one thing that's going to bring people into your stream, and I think that's one of the things that's been the biggest source of confusion. Years ago, it used to be, well, I want a flashy overlay. I want all these metrics to call out all of our new followers, new subscribers. But now I've taken a different approach where I think keeping it as simple as possible is the best way to go. Simple overlay with a clean rotational widget and then very little to anything else. I'll give you 2 examples. We'll switch over and I'll show you the overlays that I used to actually use in stream. As you can tell, this is just way too busy. Just with all the flashiness of the lights and how it takes up a lot of the screen, it's too busy for me. And I think it really takes away attention from you as a streamer and the content that you're actually streaming. So I want to switch over and actually show you what I currently use. So with this in particular, this is actually my current setup. So there'd be the gameplay screen in the background, and all I have is currently a camera with a camera border and these 2 follower widgets, this rotational widget at the bottom. I think this is the best way to go, and I still think this is even too busy for me. So there's definitely room for improvement, and I think there's always going to be room for improvement, but just getting rid of all the extra metrics that you don't need is important. There's actually a great single line rotational widget that's available in the Alpha Gaming Channel Discord, so I will link that in the description below as well. So step 2 in this process is all about you. So it's about a camera. That's what it's about. So for step 2, you want to show yourself or show something. I've seen some people get really creative with this, where they'll do anime drawings of themselves. They'll do some sort of 3D rendering of themselves. I've even seen people show their animals instead, but you want to show something. I know there are some people that can get famous off of just speaking into the microphone, but they're kind of the exception, not the rule, if that makes sense. A great place to start on showing yourself is actually the Logitech 1080.
What's his name? I got nothing on a name. Come on, baby, what's the name?
The name of the camera that I just struggled with so hard is the Logitech C920. So if you go onto Amazon and actually just search the 1080 Logitech webcam or any 1080 webcam at that, you'll actually find a bunch of different options. They're usually all in the $50 to $60 price range. However, the coronavirus pandemic has affected the price of these as most people are working from home. But you can usually find one under $100 that are pretty good qualities. But before you buy, I would recommend just looking up, some reviews of these cameras before you pull the trigger. So what I want to do now is give you guys a side-by-side comparison of what a DSLR camera hooked up to CamLink looks like versus just a standard 1080p webcam. So what you're looking at right now is the Logitech C920. This is actually running in Streamlabs OBS. There is a noticeable difference between this and a DSLR, but really once you start putting it down into a camera frame, it's very minimal. One of the big things you can tell is like the trailing between your fingers, if you get a little action intensive. And then one of the other things is there's some noise, some of the colors aren't as good. One of the things that I do recommend you doing if you are going to use this camera, whether in Streamlabs OBS or in OBS Studio, is to actually set up a filter of a color correction, and you can just play with it. This actually will make your image quality look a lot better. You can tell from just some basic settings I was playing around with, it goes from looking a little bit I guess it would be oversaturated, overblown, to looking a little bit clearer. So I will let you guys decide for yourself whether or not it is good, and then we will look at it side by side. So keep this picture and then we'll look at the DSLR. So ta-da, surprise, this actually is the DSLR that I'm recording on right now. It's actually set up into my OBS studios, so what you're looking at right now is what you see in stream as well. So again, the main difference is now when we go like this, you can tell that finger trail, I guess you would call it, is no longer there. There's much less noise, if any, and the picture and the focal length is just a little bit crisper, a little clearer, and you can tell it also has a little bit of the background blur, which people really like to have. So again, just so you have a side-by-side reference of each camera. So I just want to give you guys also a bonus pro tip about setting up your camera in Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studios. So if we switch over, one of the things that sometimes you might notice you see on other streams is when people talk, their mouth doesn't sync up. Let me give you an example. So this should look really distracting because my mouth and my picture don't sync up at all. So one of the ways to fix your voice not matching the picture in stream is to actually come to your mixer settings, and there's what's called a sync offset. So with this, all you want to do is play around with it. So with mine, the sweet spot is right around 100 milliseconds. And really you have to set this because sometimes your audio signal feeding into your computer or your source is just a little bit offset from the picture as well. So pro tip, if you fix that, your mouth and your voice should be synced up, but for you, the number might be a little bit different. So no matter what camera you choose to use, the quality will be slightly different, but I think it's always overshadowed by one element, and that takes us into step number 3. For step number 3, the most important thing about whatever camera you use is the lighting. And what I mean by this is that having a non-lit scene is the difference between looking good and looking subpar. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys actually 2 examples with both cameras, both the DSLR and the webcam, one with a lit scene and one without a lit scene, and I'll just let you guys understand how important it is to have accurate lighting in your scenes. So after seeing those examples, I hope you can see how a little bit of lighting can go a far way. For me specifically, I use 2 lights and then an LED strip. I have one light set up behind my computer right next to my camera. There's actually a fill light off on the side, and you can kind of see how the edge of the chair and whatnot has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It just helps define you from your background a little bit more. And then in the background itself, I have an LED strip on the ground. I will link to my specific products down below. However, the 2 lights that I'm using, they're newer light stands. I was able to find them on Amazon for about $150, which is a bit expensive, but there are cheaper ones on the market. So you don't have to specifically buy 2 light stands off of Amazon. A simple lamp or even a bright screen can do all the difference. For example, this is with a bright screen pulled up on my monitor, and this is without. So there are just little examples of ways you can use fill lights to really make your scene look a lot better. So now that you have your overlay, your camera, and your lighting all sorted, there's really only 2 last things that you can do to improve your stream. One of those 2 things are just getting more engaged with your audience. So this is something that's obviously free to do, easy to do, and there's some things that can help you. One of the biggest things that I would recommend is actually downloading a chatbot called Mix It Up. So let me switch over really quickly and walk through why I think that. Okay, so when you open up Mix It Up bot, this is what it looks like. It's a complete separate application that you download to your PC, your stream PC. And I love it because it's got so many features. Really, we can't talk about them all today because there's just too much. Maybe I'll make a separate video in the future going over all the features that it has. But it has a unique thing where you can connect your main streaming account and as well as a bot account. So you can give that account on Twitch whatever name it wants, and then that bot account will send messages to your chat. They can be your command chats or whatever they are, which is a really unique feature of this platform. But if you actually click on this button in the top left corner, we can see all of the options that they have, and there's just so many. I'm just going to go over some of the brief things that I really think can help a new streamer or someone who's not affiliated yet, because this chatbot basically works as Twitch's channel points before you even have those available. So the first thing that you're really going to want to look at is commands. So you can set up custom commands. There are pre-made commands in here for you that you can look and select. I like the custom commands because it's just again, it gives your community something to do, and it's just that much more in depth. One of my favorite things to do is to set up a command like these ones: the hug, the lick, the slap, the tickle. They're actually really funny, and we've had moments where the entire chat room is just slapping each other, and it just turns into chaos. I also have a list of movies and shows where you can type in a command, have those prompted to you. But this is something that's very helpful because it's easy to set up in this chat bot, and if you click on here, it's fully editable. You can, is that a word, editable? But this is just something very useful if you want to set up some custom commands. So if we come down here to events too, this is something Mix It Up Bot has, which I think is very helpful. One of the ones that I like to use personally, which, take it or leave it, I've heard multiple different things about whether you should use this or not, but it's when a chat user has joined. So basically what this does is when someone clicks on your video and comes into the chat room, it will say, hi, so-and-so has joined. So if we just test it and we go back to the chat, you will see that it says, hi, DUBG, welcome back to the stream. What have you been up to? So some people like to just lurk, and this calls them out. They might feel inclined to leave. That's up to you to make that decision, but I really like having that feature myself. It lets me know who's in my chat, and I don't really force them to talk. It's just more or less a chat command that lets me know who's in stream, and also lets them know, hey, there's something more here than just a standard Twitch chat. But one of the things too, you can put timers in here. So these are messages that will just be played automatically every 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so. And I really just have them saying, hey, if you're not following, feel free to click follow. Give them some information about which custom commands I've set up that they can trigger if they like. So it's super helpful. I don't have to be monitoring chat. This bot just does it for me. And then one of the last things that I think is where it's most helpful is you have a currency rank system. So basically, I set this up before I was affiliated on Twitch to work exactly like channel points. Basically, how this works is every 10 minutes or so, and this is fully customizable again, but every so many minutes, people would be rewarded what I called Dub Club coins. And they could use those coins to redeem things, whether that's a special command. I had two commands. I had one command for the lights in my room to change the color, and one to ask a magic 8-ball a question. So they could redeem their chat points, as well as I have a ranking system, and I still have the ranking system going today, which really this just rewards coins based off of amount of time watched. So yes, I just set up different levels, and really this is like an insane level to reach. It's 1 million coins. You'd have to watch forever, for years. But yeah, so this is just something fun. I think it gives people to hang out in your chat, and it's something to really engage with them. You can talk with them about it. People that in my chat room have really liked it so far. There's obviously games, things like that, pretty standard on any chat bot, but this one I think is just really inclusive on everything that they have. There's a quote system. I love putting quotes, so when people type in exclamation quote, they can get something from a video game pun to one of my favorite movie quotes, things like that. So super helpful. Again, I think this is something that really helps you engage with your audience, and that would just take you to the next level. So the last area that you can really improve upon on your stream is your audio quality. So really there's 4 different areas of audio quality that I'll rank from worst to best. The worst would be the audio quality on a standard webcam like the Logitech webcam. It just peaks, it's all over the place, it's not reliable, I would never use it. Here's a small example of me using it by accident when I first started.
There's people on us.
Oh, baby! Oh, baby, I'm clipping it. That was sweet.
Don't do that. The second option would be a headset microphone. Those aren't bad, but they're very similar quality to a webcam, so if you could avoid using the standard built-in microphone on your headset unless it's very good, then I would steer away from that. Really, the ballpark that you want to be looking at is USB microphones, which have gotten very good in recent years, or XLR microphones. So USB microphones, some of the most popular ones are the Blue Yeti. I think there's some HyperX and some Razors that are very good. I'll link some of those below as well. And then the XLR or the condenser microphones. That's what I personally use. I use an Audio-Technica 2020. I'll link that below as well. But you can really get an XLR microphone and a mixer if you're using a PC for right around 100 to 150 bucks, which is how much a USB microphone or a nice headset is going to cost you. So really it's a personal preference to look up the different types of audio quality to see what sound you want. But I think the XLR microphones, it's as close as you can get to studio quality, if not studio quality audio on your stream. So to finish this one off, it's not as important as you might think to have the best camera in the world when really you can get away with a webcam, color correction filter, and some good lighting. Really, audio is what you want to improve upon. If you have the money to do that first, that will be the most impactful to your stream, to have a professional audio sound. Just keep it simple, keep it engaged with your audience, be yourself, and just have a fun time streaming. If you guys have found this video helpful at all, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or check me out on Twitch. Links in the description below. We plan to put out at least one new video every month to help your streaming. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Maybe we'll do one of your tutorials soon, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.